What's going on, everybody? A different look, different setup here as I'm testing the waters with how some of these discussion videos will look. I got a blank canvas behind me as a backdrop, so pardon the blandness, let's call it. But I'm open to ideas what to put behind here, and I want your input because I want to make sure these videos are awesome for you guys. But without further ado, let's dive right into the topic, and a topic that is a little overdue because it is news that broke a couple weeks ago, and that's GameStop buying Pokemon cards. And this news did come out a few weeks ago. However, I've just been in the process of relocating Murph's Card Town, so I haven't had the chance to make this video until right now. So let's dive into the details. GameStop will start buying and then eventually selling Pokemon cards. Now, I got a ton of information that I want to go over here, and I'm going to have some pictures to help illustrate what I'm talking about, but in a vacuum, that just makes me think they're desperate because GameStop has always been a video game store, a place for people to go buy, sell, and trade consoles, devices, and games, of course. However, as a card shop owner, I thoroughly believe that GameStop is still only in business because of their sales in other avenues, Pokemon being the biggest one, because when I look at consoles, you can go to the big box stores, Amazon, eBay, and of course GameStop. Games, you could just buy them right online. You don't even have to leave your house. You can download them straight to your console. Of course, you can go to flea markets, the big box stores, online retailers, and such. So this just seems like a huge desperate reach for straws here. But again, I want to go into some more details. So for some context, GameStop has already been buying iPhones, smartphones, tablets, and wearable devices outside of them selling games, consoles, and controllers. So for some time now, we've already seen them pivot away or in a different direction than the video games, again with phones, watches, tablets, and such. Anybody remember back in like middle school, elementary school, you had the old Madden or the old Call of Duty and you wanted to go trade it in for a new game, get some store credit to maybe buy the new game. And again, you remember like it was like a $50, $60 game, and next thing you know, they're offering you like $3, $4 if you were lucky. And don't forget the extra 10% store credit bonus than if it was just a cash offer. Well, they still do that, and I thoroughly believe they're also going to be doing that with Pokemon cards as well, except now we're older and we actually know the market a lot better with cards, even with video games, honestly, than when we were younger back then. Like, oh, $5, sure, it's better than nothing, right? Nowadays, if someone offers me $5 for the latest Madden game or Call of Duty, whatever, it's like, these games are still very playable. What do you mean $5? And I don't know the video game market all too well. To be honest, probably really not much at all. So if anyone's into the video game market, let me know down below in the comments kind of what's the landscape and such of that, just because I'm only speaking from information that I've found, research that I've done, and obviously just a little bit of experience myself. So speaking of the video game market, I have an example here, and I think this is a really good example to kind of showcase what to expect when you go to sell GameStop your Pokemon cards. So Marvel Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 recently came out, and you could go buy it right now on eBay for about $35, $45 in used condition. Now, is that a good price? Again, this is where I'm a little unknowing of the video game market, but in a game that's $60, $70, depending if you got what PlayStation bundle, $80, $90, $100 game, I think that's a pretty good price. eBay sold seems very consistent here, $35, $45. We need to make sure that we consider condition of these video games, because if it's all scratched up, it's gonna be worthless, especially if you can't play it. People want clean discs, they want cases that look good. That I do know. GameStop's ask for the used game of Spider-Man 2 is $60. You get to see it in person, probably check out the disc, make sure it looks all good. Is that premium price to have it right there in person worth it? That's for you to answer. I know a lot of people here around the shop, they're like, oh, premium price, oh, person, oh. GameStop's trade-in value for that same game, again, $35, $45 selling on eBay, but the trade-in value is up to $25. You're more likely going to be getting less than that. I don't know what it's going to take to get $25. Again, that's up to. you're probably more so looking at like $20 or so, just blind guess. So before you say GameStop is screwing people, just remember you can go sell anything on eBay yourself, whether it's games, whether it's cards. Some people want to put in the work, some people don't, but just know this is an avenue for you to just go offload your stuff, be done with it. Again, some people are willing to do that, some people aren't, and I would know from the card community. Let's go over some pros and cons, and let's start with the pros because I like to keep things positive here. Pros: you get to sell your Pokemon cards fast. I kind of just talked about this. That's really the only pro that I can think of for people, is if you're in a pinch, card shops aren't taking it, can't sell it at a show or Facebook Marketplace, or you're sick of putting it on eBay and waiting for nobody to offer, I guess you can go here and go to GameStop and sell it there. What's the percentage you're going to be walking away with? Don't expect much, but at least it's an option. Cons: there's a few more cons than there are pros. They're only accepting PSA 8s and up. So if you have any vintage cards, first edition cards that are 6, 7, old school cards, early holographic cards that are maybe 5, 6, have value, they're not going to be looking at those cards because they're not 8s and up. So I think by just kind of shutting them off to only a PSA 8 and above, really handcuffing them for almost no reason. Cards over $500 will be excluded. So I know there's been a bunch of jokes about trading in the Moonbryon Altar, that's now over $1,000 card, and GameStop offering you like $25 for it. I love those memes, but you're not going to be able to bring a Umbreon VMAX Altar to GameStop to trade because that is over $500. Now I am curious, what are they going to be using as their price guide to determine the card value? I know with GameStop and their games, there's like a database, whatever. Again, I don't know how those prices are accumulated. So again, if anyone has any light on that, let me know down below. Are they going to use TCG Player? Are they going to use price charting? Are they going to average out sales on eBay? When you start diving into that market, the card market, where there is no set price, now you're depending on your employees to have an idea how to look up cards, know what to look for, and be able to offer the cheapest price possible and hope that the person who's trying to sell the cards actually takes it, so there's room for GameStop to make profit. Additionally, they're only going to be accepting PSA cards. I mentioned they're only taking PSA 8s and above, but they're only taking PSA cards. No BGS, no CGC. I don't like SGC for Pokemon, but they're not even accepting SGC. Also, they're not accepting raw cards as well. And again, this is all for now. So is there like an agreement, a deal with PSA? Who knows? I doubt that there is because they're not accepting raw cards to grade them. Maybe they're behind the scenes opening their own product, grading them. Who knows? I'm very excited to see what more information comes from this. To be only accepting PSA, seems like a hype beast kind of a move because whether people like them or not or agree with me or not, collectors do like CGC graded cards. I know it's the blue label that they mostly like, but even the new black and white label that's been around for almost a year now, people still do like them. So to me, by them only wanting PSA graded cards, it makes me think that this is a very hype beast kind of a move. And what I mean by that is they're, so to speak, brainwashed by the fact that PSA has all this value. Everybody loves PSA. It's something that maybe they'll kind of come off of and start being more diversified. Again, how are they going to be coming up with these values? Maybe sticking with PSA is maybe just a safe bet because if there's a CGC 10, a PSA 10, and a Beckett 10, which one's going to be valued more or less? So I guess from that perspective, it makes a little bit of sense, but still, like, you're handcuffing yourself here. Now, this is the one that really kind of stuck out to me, is the fact that they're currently only buying Pokemon cards, graded Pokemon cards, and they will be eventually selling them. Now, when's eventually? I'm not sure. How long is it going to take for them to be selling them? I'm not sure. Is there a specific date in mind? I don't know. Are they just looking for as many cards as they can get and then doing something? Who knows? Who knows? This is a very puzzling decision by GameStop. However, they're only going to be buying cards. And for anybody that has bought in cards in the past, sat on them for a very long period of time, you go relook them up, the value is nowhere near what it was when you bought the card. And I really do feel like that GameStop is going to be running into that kind of issue significantly, especially when if they buy a PSA 10 of of a card that just came out of, like, let's say Twilight Masquerade, and then 6 months from now that's not the chase card, and it's a third, a fraction, 75% less than what they bought it for. So it's just a little puzzling. For me, I like to buy or even trade for cards, let the new arrivals case be rotated, and then they're out. My eventually selling them is about a week or two. GameStop, we have no idea. So if they were to buy, let's say, a $200 to $300, alt art PSA 10 or whatever the value is, but let's just say it goes down and now it's only a $125 card. When they go to sell it, where are they coming up with this price tag? Are they going to be keeping track of what they paid for the card? How are they going to kind of inventorize and calculate their ROIs and percentages and such? And the last but not least con that I have is that they're most likely not negotiable. People like to negotiate. They like to bargain. Some people like to have fun with it. Some people do it to try to get the best price or any mix between the two. I like to bargain as well. I like to negotiate. I think it's fun. Now, of course, some prices are more flexible than others, and I'm transparent, and I admit that. But we all know that if you go to GameStop and you see a card for $250, let's say, but it's going for about $180, $150 even, they're not going to be negotiable at all. They're going to be pretty hand-tied, especially just some minimum wage employee. They're going sorry, it's the price, take it or leave it. They're not going to care if you buy that card or not. At least I'm negotiable, guys. You can't say that I'm not. I'm flexible and I like to bargain a little bit, but GameStop's not going to be, because you can't do that with video games. We all know you can't do that with video games. If there's a game that's there, again, the Spider-Man game, they're asking $60 used, but you'd be like, hey, this is last sold on eBay for $38. They're going to be like, go pound some sand. So that's going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything about this news about GameStop buying Pokemon cards and then eventually selling them, please leave those down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Please make sure you press all the buttons, consider joining the channel membership program, and I've queued up an excellent video right here for you guys that I do believe is going to be excellent for your hobby endeavors. Hopefully, I'll see you in that one.